Despite it all, the memories of my grandfather are coloured in with the pencils and crayons of childhood. They are golden. He was a barn of a man. He had hands like bunches of bananas and feet in spit-polished brogues with laces tied in precision double bows. In our house, he only ever sat in his own special chair, a chair that was always ready for him, as warm and comfortable as his Sunday visits. He taught us the words to Mademoiselle from Armature's, Inky Pinky Parlez-vous. Grandad always travelled by bus or train. On his death certificate, it is noted that he was from Wolverhampton and that by profession he had been an omnibus driver. He explained omnibus was Latin for everybody, so everybody should catch the bus. His death certificate didn't say that he had been a soldier. There was no mention of Arras, no room on the form for the reference of trenches, nor to record that he fought and killed in France. Grandad Horace, on my father's side, suffered with his health. But as a child I never noticed. To me he was massive but not scary, quiet but not dull, enthusiastic but not brash, prone to silent moods but never unkind. He was a fan of autumn in Birmingham, of Wolverhampton Wanderers, and of birds' custard. Golden things. The best Sundays were dry, cold October Sundays when Grandad took us for long walks down Wake Green Road. Afternoons when crisped and crinkled leaves crunched under our feet and made the pavements invisible. Wearing hand-knitted balaclava helmets and start-right shoes, we would kick the leaves high into the air, turning them into fluttering rains that we would dance through holding his gigantic hands, and he'd tell us the truth. These are not leaves. These are giant's cornflakes. In 1960, the year before I was born, he had had a ticket for the FA Cup at Wembley. Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Blackburn Rovers.
Managers Duncan and Cullis led Blackburn Rovers and Wolverhampton Wanderers onto the Wembley turf. It was like midsummer as Bill Slater spun the coin. A week ago, Wanderers had hopes of the double. Burnley stole the league championship from under their nose, but as they attacked and tested Harry Leyland, Wolves were determined on an all-out effort to take the cup back home. At the final whistle, Dealey deserved his congratulations. Wolves had won 3-0, and Bill Slater led his men, a proud captain indeed, to the Royal Box. Congratulations to this wonderful club, Wolverhampton Wanderers.
I tried to love the Wolves. I did. I couldn't. I was taken to the Molyneux too soon. I was too small to see. I was so short I had to hold my arm above my head to grasp my granddad's hand. We stood in the stands, my head at the height of dozens of black country backsides. I moaned. I was miserable. I didn't like it. I was glad when my dad and my granddad said I couldn't go again. When he asked me why I'd been so mardy, I told him. Football smells of farts. My gigantic granddad giggled. And the following Sunday, like every Sunday, was Bird's Custard Day. More gold, actual alchemy, as the pale, fine powder turned dazzling yolk yellow when the milk was mixed in. Impossibly yellow. More yellow than the yolk of any natural egg had any business ever being. This was the 60s. We lived for space race food. It was 50 years since he'd lived on rats and rations. In the 60s, olive oil was bought at the chemist in small brown medicine bottles to be warmed and drizzled into your ears if you had the earache. Who had ever heard of a vanilla bean? Nobody. Housewives tipped sugar mountains of Tate and Lyle straight from blue and white striped paper bags into bubbling, screeching yellow lagoons of bird's custard. Mom made it specially, with Stera. A pint of sterilised milk in a tall bottle with a crown cap that came once a week from the milkman, especially for Grandad's custard. This was not creme anglaise. Grandad loved it. And we loved him. And we didn't know that beneath his conker shiny shoes, parts of his feet had been lost to gangrene. We didn't know Grandad's best mate Charlie had been a Wolves supporter, a bus mechanic and a custard devotee. We hadn't met Charlie. We didn't know that Grandad, with an officer's gun in his back, had been charged with mopping up. We didn't know what mopping up was, but he told our mom. His had been the hand that held the gun that put the bullets in the heads of those whose fear had paralysed them. He had mopped up child men so petrified they hadn't been able to move and hadn't gone over the top. We hadn't known what mopping up was. We didn't know that Grandad had shot Charlie in the head. Sometimes I wish Mom never told us. She did tell us, long after he had died, so we know about the sergeant's gun at Grandad's back. We know he had no choice. And we didn't know why his cough was so bad or about the missing toes. And we couldn't understand why sometimes, when he sat in his special chair, all big and comfortable, after his massive bowl of custard, it would look like Grandad was crying. We didn't understand why Mom would come from the back, suds on her hands, in her kitchen pinny, and shoo us into the front room because your Grandad needs a minute. He'd shot his best mate in the head. In 2006, 306 soldiers were given government pardons. They had been tried for cowardice, convicted and executed on the front. Their widows, were they old enough to have left them, were never given pensions. Slight as that was, it covered up the hundreds, probably thousands more who went unrecorded. It covers up the mopped. Inky, pinky, parlay, fucking voo. Autumn leaves. Black and gold of wanderer's home kit. The ungodly colour of custard. Inky, pinky, parlay, voo. Memories of my Grandad are still mostly golden.